Thank you for your curiosity. Today we have a 10-time Muay Thai champion, 2-time gold medalist, and current Combate Americas atomweight fighter, Janet Garcia-Borbon.
Hello.
All right. So, Janet, you have an interesting story, so definitely want to go through some of this as well, and I get the fans a chance to know you a little better because I'm hoping that they've seen the last two fights that were spectacular.
Oh,
I
thank you.
mean, you look to be leagues ahead in the striking, which was what most people expected. They were like, "This is going to be pretty easy for her to if they stay standing up." And then we then found out right away that it's not as easy as they thought to take you down. You were able to just stuff takedowns and get into great positions. I mean, your jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
game is crisp. I mean, top notch.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I pretty much know that a lot of people are gonna try to take me down, so I make sure that I'm like well aware of the takedowns.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to me too. It was like, I mean, she's obviously gonna know that they're probably terrified to stand in front of her. It makes sense with your accolades. So let's start at the beginning. I usually do it a little bit differently. Excuse me. Let me adjust a little bit. There we go. So usually I ask everyone about their childhood, but you've actually done quite a few pods yourself. But I'm going to start a little differently. Having immigrated to the States at a very young age, what were you like as a child, and can you recall anything about life outside of the States or before moving?
Yeah, I was a very like shy kid when I was growing up in Mexico. I really liked going home and just watching like anime and stuff like that when I used to come home from school. One of my favorites was, of course, Dragon Ball. It was Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and I think there was another one called like Ranma One Half. Those are like my top three, and that was pretty much it. When I was like, that I remember growing up in Mexico, like I really just like after school would just run home and just watch anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the life. I remember that, especially when Toonami used to come on right away.
Mm,
It's phenomenal to have that, especially Rama One Half. You just brought me back. I was like, I
yeah.
don't remember that show. That was a weird ass show, but it was hilarious, and it was actually all
Yes.
martial arts based. So that was the
Mhm.
best part about
They
it.
were all pretty much martial arts. That's what got me into martial arts.
That's dope. But you did start Taekwondo at the age of 7. Can you recall like what it was that got you to that first class? And once you got to that first class, do you kind of have a memory of like a core memory there that like, oh wow, I remember seeing the mats and seeing everything, and it kind of just spoke to me.
Yeah, so my dad was a bus driver in Mexico, and I remember sometimes I would just go after school, and then we would go see like ride the bus with him. And I remember he used to have the same route, and we would pass by this martial arts school, this Taekwondo school. Every time that I would go on the bus ride, I would pass by this martial arts school, and I would see the kids running up and down the stairs with their little like geese and their uniform, and it just looked so happy. And me watching like anime and stuff like that. I also used to watch a lot of like oh my god, Jackie Chan movies with my dad. So all of that and then seeing the kids, I'm like, that looks so fun. I want to do that. So that was when I saw the kids like in that school, I'm like, I want to go there, you know? So I just like begged my parents to take me there.
I would imagine your parents were like, "This is not what we were expecting her to ask for" at some point.
No, definitely not. My mom was very hesitant at first because I'm a girl. And then she took me to ballet. She took me to what is it, swimming and gymnastics. She took me to all those gyms. I'm like, well, this is nice. And she's like, don't you want to try this? I'm like, no. My mind was set on like taekwondo or fighting or anything like that, martial arts.
That's fucking dope. And as you stated, you are an anime fan. Like you love all of them. At the moment, given how much the expansion of anime, now that it's cool, because now I
Hmm.
remember when we were younger, they would pick on us. Oh, you
Yeah.
watch that? And you're
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? The story's amazing. Yeah, you're a nerd or something to that effect. My wife was saying that too. She was like, do you remember when they used to pick on us at school for liking this shit? And I was like, yeah, I kind of feel
Yeah.
a little salty that that wasn't cool back then.
Yeah, we did.
We got so much shit for it. But at the current moment, because now it's like a boom of anime everywhere. But is there anything like are there any current or new animes that you have on your watch list at the time?
I've tried to watch like Dragon Slayer and others, but I just don't have the time. It's just like I don't have the time. I'm just like so split into like so many things and work and training and this and that that I'm like I don't have the time. But I did rewatch Dragon Ball Z recently with my husband from like beginning to end, and that was freaking awesome to watch. And I watched the new ones, even the new Dragon Balls, like all the movies and stuff like that. I rewatched those recently, so that was fun.
That's dope. Yeah, Super's been really good. Now with the passing of
Mhm.
Toriyama, there's talks about like the last one that he did on the episode is like a final goodbye or farewell to the crowd, which is pretty
Yeah.
dope. I think we're all gonna cry when we see it. But
Oh, definitely.
but you go from loving anime and thinking I just want to do martial arts. At what point do you have that aha moment and go, you know what? I want to become a fighter.
Well, when I started doing Taekwondo, I really enjoyed it a lot. I was going like to competitions in Mexico, like other states, and I just like excel at it. Like I just loved it so much. I was just like I was winning first places like here and there, and then I don't know. It was just very exciting to me. I really loved it. And then when we moved to the States, everything changed. Everything was new. And then I think I was like 16, I believe, if I'm not correct, that my brother took me to like this cardio kickboxing thing class. And I was like, I want to go. All right, let's go. So once I got there, like it kind of brought me back to like that childhood, you know. So I really enjoy like hitting the bag and punching and kicking. I was just having so much fun. It was just very fun for me. And then one of the coaches approached me and he was like, "Have you ever thought about fighting?" You know, I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't know. Never thought about it." And then that just kind of like put like a little seed in my head, I guess. And I'm like, "Oh, like, what's this all about?" You know, like let me see if I like it. And then one thing led to another. I kept coming back. And then I just kind of thought to myself, let me just try it and let's see if I like it. You know, I'll never know if I don't try it. Um, Once I tried it, I was like, I kind of like this, you know, this is fun. And it was all just because it was fun for me. Honestly, it was because I liked it and like the adrenaline rush and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you definitely live up to the hype because I've seen some of your Muay Thai matches as well, and I was like, she looks like she's having a blast. Everybody else is probably like panicking, stressed, and you look like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what's good.
Yeah.
Your expression doesn't change much in your fights, which makes me die laughing because I'm like, man, she looks like she's about to just maul this poor girl. I feel bad for her, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
it's just fun.
I heard you on a podcast speak about how you found a Groupon to train at AKA for a month and then fell in love with Muay Thai, but
Yes.
did you know about the prestige of what American Kickboxing Academy ultimately was or what it would be? And then you stated that you just ended up having fun and just tried it. But
Mhm.
once you start the competition in Muay Thai, because I know Muay Thai's a bit more intense in my opinion, but did that kind of change it for you? Did you go like, oh shit, this is real? Like, did that moment kind of hit you?
Yes and no. When I tried the group, I didn't know like what AKA was, you know, it was just something that like it was close by. And then I was going to the 24 Fitness that was close by on Hillsdale. And I just saw the AKA logo and I was like, oh, okay. But, and then I saw the Groupons. I was like, again, I was like, I think I was like 20 when I started or 21 and broke college student. I didn't, you know, I didn't have much. So Groupon was there. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try it. I think it was like $30 for 2 months or like a month or something like that. I was like, I can afford that. It was a birthday. Actually, it was a birthday gift to me. I think I was turned 21. And I was like, I wanted to try something new. And then the Groupon was there. I was like, okay, let's do it, you know. And it was scary because it's a very male dominated, especially even more back then. And I didn't know anybody. My friends didn't want to try it with me, so I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be there alone. So once I got there, again, I just there's something about exercise and punching that I just love. It's just like I don't know. Um, so once I started doing the classes, I really enjoyed it, and then I saw the Muay Thai team there with Coach Derek and everybody else that was there. It was so intense. They were just going so hard, and I just looked out to them. I was like, "Wow, that's tight." You know, like how do I get to be there? So I just kind of talked to the coaches and one of my teammates now, Eric. I talked to him. It's like, "Hey, how do I like you know how do I do this kind of thing?" Um, and then I guess the aha moment for me, I didn't have like an aha moment like this is what I want to do. It was more like I didn't want to wonder what my life would be if I didn't continue doing it. you know, because I just don't want to like regret. I feel like if I wouldn't have done this, I would have regretted, and I've always wondered like, what, how far would I have taken it, kind of thing. So for me, it was more like I want to see how far I can take it, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do it.
I see. I was thinking to myself, Alejandra Lara, who's also in Combate Americas, she
Hmm.
was saying the same thing. She's like, I got cracked in the jaw, and then she was like, I kind of like this, and I was just like, oh dear God, y'all scared me a little bit. I'm a little
Yeah,
nervous.
no, I never got cracked, but I did get a leg kick like really, really badly. The first time that I sparred with the Muay Thai team, I didn't know how
Mm.
to check kicks, and she just blasted my leg just over and over. I couldn't come back for a week because it was black and blue, and it hurt to like step on my leg. But I came back after a week after it was healed. I was like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, once you come back after that, they're like, okay, she's not going anywhere. We're cool.
Yeah,
She passed the test because that's pretty much what happens. You get one
yeah.
person that just beats the crap out of you, and then like, all right, if they come back, they want to do this. If they don't, then they don't, and that's
Hmm.
perfectly fine. And that's typically what happens. But you go from this illustrious Muay Thai career, which you've been given a lot of praise and love, and rightfully so. I mean, you were on the U.S. team, and you am. But you
Yeah.
transitioned from Muay Thai to 2023, and during your career, your teammates gave you the Apollo Muay Tyson, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, you did hit the hell out of that, like, that last two fighters you fought, and I could tell in their face they haven't been hit that hard before because they were like
Yeah.
surprised. They're like, "What the hell?" Especially Katie because she was so much bigger than you. I think she was like, "All right, I could eat this." She took like two of those, and she was like, "No, I can't. No, I can't. I'm not doing that shit."
Yeah.
Um, so you went from winning the 2022 USMF gold medal, then you were the Freedom Fighters champion at 105, which is a
Hmm.
very huge feat in and itself because most people that don't know Muay Thai, in America, don't know that
Yeah.
Freedom Fighters is one of those top promotions where you really prove your mettle. So, what made you transition to MMA ultimately?
Yeah. So, I kind of always have it in the back of my mind that I wanted to do MMA. So that's why I started doing jiu-jitsu even like 8 years ago, right? I just wanted to put like some knowledge into like if I want to do this later on, like I should just start now in jiu-jitsu rather than later. Then after like I did the World Games, it's kind of hard for me to find fights here in the States as a Muay Thai like 105er. There are very few. There wasn't many opportunities. And also the pay is kind of crap, honestly, you know? Muay Thai doesn't have a lot of money. You do it because you love it, pretty much it. And that's the only reason why you do it. It's not going to make you a millionaire, or you have to have like 2 3 jobs just so you can actually fight. So yeah, then that was it. Like one of the reasons is no money in Muay Thai. Two, there wasn't a lot of like people that I wanted, like I could fight even. And then I was just kind of like, I didn't want to fight the same people again, like I did in amateur and now we're going to fight in pro. It just it didn't bring me joy. I was like, this is kind of boring for me, So I wanted to try something new. And I already knew that, like, like I have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm no slacker. So I just kind of like jumped into the opportunity.
That's dope. And yeah, I mean, with both Izzy and Alex Tejeda, who come from the kickboxing and Muay Thai scene, they were showing the pay structure, and Alex as a world champion in kickboxing, and even in that world because Glory is huge, was making maybe 200 grand a year, if that, and that was after like 3 or 4 fights in a single
Yeah.
year. And so I get what you're saying. There really isn't you can't make much of a living, which is surprising because American fans consistently complain that they want to watch guys stand and bang, and I'm like, there's literally an entire sport dedicated to that, and
Yeah.
it's all skill and it's all perfect, and it's violent from start to finish. Wish
Yeah.
it was bigger in the States, but that's awesome. And then do you think that your striking experience really is going to play a huge factor into your fight game as you continue your career? Because we are seeing, again, guys like Izzy, guys like Alex
Mhm.
Tejeda, who it just seems like they're on another level with their striking. Every time they hit guys, it's like those guys don't know what the hell hit them, or they'll just kind of move in a certain way that's so much different than the patterns they're used to seeing in MMA.
Yeah.
But do you think that that striking specialty is like making y'all kind of sit atop of the crop?
Yeah, I think it kind of does. Just more than the striking, it's just like the number of fights that we have. Like I have like 24 fights in Muay Thai, right? And then just that experience of being in there and getting punched in the face, kind of thing. A lot of like MMA people that transition like straight to MMA, they go like maybe I don't know, 5 to maybe 10 fights as an amateur and then just go straight into like pro, right? Um for me, like I did 25 fights for amateur in Muay Thai and then I went to pro kind of thing. So that is just a lot of experience, I feel like. So I think that's one of the reasons why when like Muay Thai or like kickboxing switch to MMA, they do pretty good. It's because of that experience.
Yeah, and I would say the same with wrestlers too. Wrestlers
Mhm.
wrestle like
Yeah.
what, 3 matches in a single tournament. I mean, when I was growing up, it was 4.
Hmm.
I think now it's less than that. But when I was wrestling as a kid and my brothers were wrestling, my brothers would be there all day. Like it was an all day affair for us to go to a
Yeah.
wrestling match. So y'all have that experience. And then I do think that there's also something about the skill level. There's like a disparity between most people striking. And then on those of you who compete in that specific system of Muay Thai, kickboxing, or just any type of striking, like high level striking skills, y'all seem to have an advantage because I saw one of your fights and it looked like your opponent was moving in slow motion. Like I think you could read the tell right away. So I think the experience, like you said, does help. And you do love BJJ, like you said, purple belt in BJJ, which is
Hmm.
solid, very awesome. Of course, you're at AKA, which is one of the top grappling academies. Ironically enough, American Kickboxing Academy has some of the best grapplers in the world. Go figure. That actually last night Islam retained the title, which is awesome.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was amazing. I was heartbroken for Dustin. I'm a huge Dustin Poirier fan, but that was like
Same.
my cousin called me. He's like, dude, what the hell are they putting in the water over there in Russia? I was like, I don't know, man. This dude is tough. So it
Yeah.
was solid. It was solid. But I did see your Sailor Moon rash guard, by the way, which I thought
Mm.
was so fucking cool. Do you have any of the other like anime style rashies, or like is there one that you have your eye on right now that you're like, I really want that?
I want to collect all the Sailor Moon rash guards first. And I also do have a lot of like Dragon Ball rash guards. I have Vegeta, I have Goku, I have Android 17. Yeah, so I love them. I love training with them.
You got to compete in the Android 17 one. You know the fans will go fucking nuts. They
Yeah.
love Shorty because she was awesome. She kicked the shit
Yeah.
out of Vegeta. Got that same injury still. Every episode, it's
Yeah,
the
the little
same.
shoulder.
Yo, it was like the same arm too. It was like, damn,
Every
you
time.
fucked him up forever. Oh
Yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, having a purple belt in BJJ though, you stated that you had already started training grappling before you decided to jump into MMA. What
Hmm.
was that like as well? Like when you go from like being a striker and then all of a sudden like, hey, we do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You were probably like, what the fuck is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? But
Yeah.
how did you end up in BJJ and do you like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because you seem to?
Yeah. It was actually I broke my collarbone in my second Muay Thai fight, and it was because of a fall. So I don't know. My brain was like, "Oh, you need to learn how to fall jujitsu." After I came back from the injury, I was like, "Okay, I don't want just to like do happen this again." So I was just looking. I was like, "Okay, let's look at some jujitsu, like And then also like Ronda was very big at that time, so I was like, "Oh, okay, arm bars, like there we go." Um, so I just kind of like fell into jujitsu in a way. I liked it. I guess it's it's very different, but I don't know. It makes how do I explain it? I love it because it's so difficult. It's a different thing. Like it's so mental for me because I feel like I have like really really bad days in jiu-jitsu more than I have it in striking, and it makes you like get better. Like it just like it breaks you down and it builds you back up, kind of thing. It's like it's a roller coaster of emotions. I feel like jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is a different beast, but that does speak to how different you are compared to most folks because from what I've seen, even in the Navy, everyone's a specialist in something and they're the best at that thing. And then when they go to something else that they're not great at,
Hmm.
they typically get in there, they get mauled, and then they're like, I'm not doing this shit ever again. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Jump right up on their feet and try to run out.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you decided to stick through it, and obviously it's paying dividends. BJJ purple belt,
yeah.
that's a solid achievement. Most people don't even get that far. They get the blue belt and then they quit.
And they peace out.
Yeah, They do the Homer Simpson, like they go
Yeah,
up
and
the
it just
grass
fade
and just
into.
right. I thought that was hilarious, and then so it's solid that you're doing that because I've watched some of your jiu-jitsu clips. It's hilarious too. You do a lot of like, I mean, your content game is actually pretty
Oh,
hardcore. It's actually
thanks.
dope that you went ahead and did that. I saw your one of like doing cardio, and it's like the first 10 seconds, and you're like crawling on the on the
Yes,
goddamn treadmill.
I hate running. That's
No,
so
I don't
funny.
blame you. I think because of I had one coach who like road work, and we
Mhm.
used to get up at 5 a.m. to go run. And then
Mhm.
after a few years of that, I was like, you know what, my knees kind of hurt, bro. Like, this isn't it. So I need a little less impact, but you do have
Yeah,
to run once in a blue at least to keep yourself going.
definitely.
Mix
For
up the
me, it's
cardio.
just it becomes more mental running than anything. It's just like because I hate it so much.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
My father is like 50 now. He's about to be 50, late 40s. And there was a time when my dad would like do road work with me in the morning.
Oh wow.
And I was like, dude, how the hell are you keeping up? And he's like, I was doing this before you were born because he used to box. So we started
Okay.
running and stuff. And about halfway through, my dad was like, this is why I fucking hated this. This is
Yeah.
why I fucking hated this. And he's
Yeah.
murmuring under his breath. And we're going up a whole incline hill. And I was like, yeah, this is not fun, is it, huh? And he's like,
No.
dude, he's like, that's part of why I quit competing. He's like, I didn't like doing this shit. And I don't blame you, man. My knees hurt still. So
Yeah.
it's awesome to see that the content you put up and you make a lot of jokes and all the shit that you be doing is actually pretty fucking funny. So anyone that's watching,
Thanks.
you guys have to go to her IG. It's fucking hysterical, some of the shit you post. And then the one post that you did about like what you think you look like in your fights and then what you actually look like, I was
Oh
cracking
yeah.
up. I was like, oh
That
god.
one. I hope one day I'll get a nice like cool picture of me like kicking or punching somebody. I'm always making the weirdest faces in the fight. It's so funny.
I think everybody does though. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks they look so cool, and then they see the fiction like, why are my eyes closed? What the hell's happening right
Yeah.
here?
Hmm.
But you did state in the past in an interview that your coach Florina is a big inspiration, role model to you. And we do see that the fighters that have the closest relationship to the coaches, they're more coachable, but I also think they have more success because of that connection. Um, do you feel that that connection with Coach Florina has like really helped you flourish in the sport? And is there anything about your game that she's really like, helped you upgrade or just look at it a different way?
Yeah, I feel like my coach Florina, she's one of my coaches. One, well, she's a female, right? So having that female coach, such a big, it makes a big impact, especially for a female, because like everything that you go through, like they went through. They know exactly what you feel, like everything, right? It's very different from a male coach in that way. And she has totally developed my clinch game. Like when before her, I had no idea what the hell to do inside the clinch or anything. I remember when I first started training with her, um, she would train clinch and she would just dump me on my ass like for like 2 minutes. I was on the floor for like a minute and a half. She was just like dump, 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 and I was like, damn, get back up. All right, get back in the clinch, and dump me again. So she definitely developed my mental game, um, in that part, and she just the way she explains to me the clinch, the way she broke it down for me, it all makes sense. And then also she gives me like when she talks to me, I don't know, there's something about her that just kind of like brings out the aggression in me. She just has that thing for me. Like she knows exactly what to say and what to do for me to be like, okay, I got it, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you mean. There's certain coaches that they know how to motivate you the right way. They know what to tweak
Hmm.
and be like, hey, by the way, and you're like, you know what? Nah, I'm going.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I feel you on that one. So shout out to Coach Marino for that one.
Yeah.
And you again train at the prestigious, aka got the champ, Islam, who defended DC, Khabib, Rockhold, and so forth and so on. Um, do you feel like having this team is the best team for you in your career as far as like where you want to achieve in your MMA career? And have you ever had the opportunity to work with head coach Javier Mendez?
I haven't trained with Javier. I do talk to him sometimes when he's there. He's very he's super nice. You don't think it would be, but he's super nice. He's very like in-depth person and he's very hands-on, but I haven't had the chance to train with him. I train mostly with my head coach, Derek and Florina. They're the ones who are in charge of the Muay Thai team at AKA. So I just kind of like stay with them for my striking. Now that I transition over to the MMA, it's a little bit different. I still have my striking and my clinch coach, but now I also have Adam. So he's another like he kind of helps me like put more together like my game on the ground and everything like that. So he's been a really huge help for me um in the AKA like pro MMA stuff now. Yeah.
Solid. And you do 2-a-days when you're training?
Yeah, sometimes three. It depends if I have like strength training. So I do morning practice, and then if I have strength training, I do that in the mid afternoon, and then I go back at night and train either jujitsu or more striking, like 6 days a week.
Awesome. Man, 6 days a week is a tough schedule. I think I trained the most like 4 days a week, and I was dying. I
Yeah,
was like, everything's
no,
gonna
it
break.
is tough.
But
It has changed a lot because Muay Thai, I'm not gonna say it was more relaxed, but it was less because now it's like jujitsu and wrestling and everything, you know. But yeah.
yeah, I think there's just a little bit more to MMA in terms of like there's more threats, so you have to just
Mhm.
be prepared for the extra threats. With Muay Thai, you kind of have the same expectations of like, okay, the worst case scenario, something knocks me out, something knocks me down, and I know what to look for because I've seen it 100 times. Once
Yeah.
you start adding all these other little idiosyncrasies and small
Yeah.
tweaks, and then it just like becomes a nightmare. Then you're like, oh crap, which I get. So I'm happy that you're doing it well. I know that you had Olympic aspirations. Are you still aspiring to become an Olympic medalist and hopefully champion in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if that's one thing that I would go back for Muay Thai if they go in the Olympics for sure. I'll be like, I'll put MMA aside and go back to like doing Muay Thai only just for the Olympics. I mean, that's one of the biggest dreams I had as a little kid. So if that opportunity ever opens up, I'll definitely go after it for sure.
Solid. And I mean, just so that I know, because I've never heard you speak on it before. You've mentioned that going to the Olympics is a dream for you since you were a
Hmm.
child. Was there a specific champion or anyone specifically that you looked at and it made you want to become a champion, or did you just see that on the TV and go, "I want one of those"?
Uh, yeah, not really. When I first got like the idea of being an Olympian or anything like that, I was doing Taekwondo in Mexico, and my coaches back then were just talking about like, oh, you can take this a really long way if you stick with Taekwondo. Like you can go be an Olympian and everything like that. And then they just explained to me what it was. So I kind of like saw little stars, when they were like talking about being an Olympian and everything. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Like, I want to do that. And then, like I got a glimpse of like Olympics on the TV and stuff like that. And then I was like, yeah, I want to be able to do that one day. But then that kind of dream fell through. And, but now if I ever get the opportunity to actually like go for it and be an Olympian, I'll definitely put everything aside and just focus on that.
I respect that. That's definitely a huge goal, and there are very few people in the world that understand what an Olympic medal really means.
Yeah.
So I respect that you have that love for it. But you won against Katie Perez in your last fight, and the announcer was shocked. I was hearing the announcer team go, "Man, Katie's so much bigger. You would think she could be able to take these blows." And then I just remember hearing you hit her, and I was like, "It sounds like a bomb is going off in there. That's terrifying. I think I'd have a stroke if somebody hit me that hard." As you do, because I know that tattoo therapy is your thing. What tattoo did you get after you beat Katie Perez?
Oh, I just got more on my leg done. I just got like higher on my leg and then behind my leg. So I'm just trying to get my whole left leg done. So after each like fight, I go back to my tattoo artist and I'm like, all right, let's add something else to it. Yeah.
That's sick. That's awesome. I was like, I know that you spoke about that in the past. You're like, yeah, I have tattoo therapy right after I win. If I win, I get another tattoo. That's how I'm gonna reward myself. I was like, that's
Yeah.
actually a really
Hmm.
good way to do it, because that way, you keep looking forward to the next challenge.
Yeah,
My last
definitely.
question, at least for me on my end, what is your main goal in the sport of MMA? Because ultimately, when you close a chapter of your life where you no longer compete in MMA, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, my legacy. That's a big word. What I want to accomplish, I feel, for MMA, I definitely do want to become a champion. If it's for Combate or for another organization, and that's one of my dreams, to become a champion in MMA as a pro MMA fighter. I would love that. And if the UFC ever like opens up a 105, please, that would make a dream come true. That if that opens up, I'll definitely like number one goal, be a UFC champion for sure. I really enjoy competing, and it just brings me so much joy. I feel like my legacy, or like something that I want people to remember me by, is somebody who just doesn't let like adversity get in their way. Because like as an immigrant child, I had so many things change in my life, and I had to put so many dreams on hold because I couldn't do a lot of things here until recently. And I just want people to like don't give up on their dreams kind of way. Because just because something happens and you can't achieve it right away, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to achieve it later on in life. So I want people to remember me by that.
Okay, that's beautiful. I love that. And now your time with Resilient kind of makes sense now. Like, all right, that team up seems really well done. Seems like
Yeah.
your brands align perfectly in that department, so that's dope. For those of you who don't know, she is a Brazilian athlete.
Yeah.
We'll put the link in the description so you can go check out the merch. And then I know you have a brand new T-shirt which looks dope. It looks fucking
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
I love the art.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead to the description of the video. I'm gonna put the link as well, so you can buy the new T-shirt. And this T-shirt's dope. Color is awesome. Every detail is as beautiful as the next. So it was really awesome, and it looks like a really good representation of you as a warrior. So I
Hmm.
thought that was dope as fuck too. Before I let you go, do you have any fights coming up, and do you want to say anything for your sponsors, as well as letting the fans know where they can reach out to you and keep in touch?
Yeah. I do have a fight coming up in 3 weeks, actually, June 22nd. Yeah. Fighting for Combate again. It's gonna be a really good one. I feel like it's gonna be a fun fight. For my sponsors, I want to thank Brazilian for always like, keeping me fresh with my gear and everything. They're amazing. You guys should check them out. If you guys need gloves, shin guards, Muay Thai related, go check them out. And for the fans, you can always look me up on Instagram. I'll be posting along my fight camp for the next 3 weeks, so you can just follow along my story.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Go ahead and follow Janet on IG. We're going to put her IG link in the post down in the description. Make sure you go down there. As always, I want to thank Janet for coming on, giving us a piece of her time. And then we're going to make sure that everything's in the description, her socials, how to reach out to her, how to keep up her next fight in Combate, so you can see what that's all about. Janet, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you
me.
because I know you have so much to do, and you made this time for us today. And to all of those who are watching at home, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your curiosity, and we hope you keep your peace.
Bye.